Hey, you there! Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today I have a 4v4 ladder match on Adaptive Canis River. So let's get on into it by introducing our players, starting up here in the northern team, Team 1. We have in yellow, Luker going Seraphim and First Land. To his right, in that red or is that crimson? I'd call that crimson. We have Flying Olsen as a Cybran as well going first land. To the right of him, we have Excited in orange going first land as a Seraphim. And then last but not least for Team 1, we have Accidental Aeon going Seraphim as well, going first land in red. Now, down here at the bottom, we have Team 2. We have Kelly over here to the southwest section in purple, going UEF and First Land. To his north, we have Seal Force in, let's see, is that blue? Let's say that's regular blue, going First Land as a Seraphim. Next to him, we have Eternal going First Land in navy blue as an Aeon. And then last but not least for the whole game, we have Azuros going first land, second air as a Cybran in turquoise or teal or whatever mixture of color that is. Again, Adaptive Canis River is a 10 by 10 kilometer. For those of you who don't know, adaptive means that you can have multiple players or different numbers of players on the same map. So in this configuration, we have a 4v4. You could have, like a 3v3 or a 5v5 or a 7v7, and the starting locations will add or subtract depending on the number of players in the game. So for Reclaim, we have a decent amount in the middle by the obviously the river, but not a whole lot in these kind of. There's like some spattered around, so I mean, there's some. It's not like an absorbent amount in one location. It's kind of spread out, but it is a decent amount. Let's see what our players are up to so far. We have Seal Force going for the Hydro in the mid-south over here on the southern side of the river, as well as his mirror Aeon doing the same thing, except moving his comm forward to this southern land bridge over here, which Eternal is going to be most likely covering because his position usually takes this kind of like northeastern section. We have some early air scouts out for both teams, getting a good view of their respective enemies. We do have a bomber out from Eternal as well, going after the power for Aeon, but it's going to get shot down before it does any significant damage. Gun speed and range already on the way for CO4. He's looking to get that early comm upgrade and aggression out for him. Good to see that started now and not in the middle of combat, because that's the worst spot to do that in. We have Olsen moving, knocking some trees over, being very mean to the environment, soaking up the nice juicy reclaim in the form of mass as rocks and some trees. I think these are manual. No, he's on a... And these are manual. So if you don't know, there's multiple ways to collect reclaim. You could do a move and select the reclaim individually. You could do an attack move, which is just point A to point B, just sucking up anything in your path, or a patrol. That only works if you have less than 80% in your mass bar, the thing over here. Obviously, I'm a observer, so I don't have anything in my mass bar. But if you were a player, you would have either nothing or some or filled in that bar. Same with the energy. Anyway, let's see what's going on in the north section. Nothing too much, just a couple interceptors and air scouts. We got some hunters, some very fast mobile assault bots out from Azuros going after these engineers. They're pretty weak, so movement is important. Trying to use that tank for body blocking, but doesn't look like that's going to happen for those engineers. But does keep that decent amount of engineers online. In the west, we have two comms, most likely facing off. Here they go. Luker getting a BD up and running. That is not going to finish at all. Taking out that engineer. Good move. Less build capacity, more ability to deny the enemy chance to reinforce positions. We have combined efforts out from 2 players on Team 1 to go after the comm of Kelly. That does not look very good for them. Down in the yellow, getting some overcharges into these Mantis, but looks like Luco just might be walking them down. But maybe not. No, he's pulling away. Okay, he probably sees this force out from Eternal. Not Eternal, excuse me. No, it's from Eternal. No, from Seal Force. Excuse me. Those blues, man. Like keeping track of which blue is which, especially with these little symbols that, like, the blue almost looks like the same blue. So maybe the developers could make the blue a little more either darker or lighter or something, because sometimes it's hard to keep track of which is which. Excuse me. Anyway, we have a T2 upgrade on the way for Kelly to rep up those hit points, as well as some regen, gun speed and range on the way for Olsen, as well as nano repair. That's kind of rare to see early on, especially when you haven't taken any damage, but if you get it early, then you can survive longer in a fight. So kind of a two-edged sword with that. Either you get it after you have the combat or before you have the combat scenarios. So kind of depending on your flavor, depending on whether you want to be like just really aggressive or really conservative, just depends on your playstyle. We have 2 comms meeting up. For Team 2 over here, we have gun speed and range on the way for Azuros with Eternal next to him. Looks like there's a ping down, most likely from the other team, saying, hey, we have a commander routed to the spot. But if they come and attack, Eternal can easily just come and reinforce. Run by opportunity on the way for Excited. Don't think he's going to get a whole lot done with that, since we have couple factories producing Mantis, so that'll be able to slowly whittle down those forces. And if a comm wanted to walk over here and take them out, they'd go a lot quicker. Gunships out for Olsen, maybe trying to dissuade Seal Force from moving forward. We do have a run by and push on the way for Kelly, kind of some retribution for that earlier aggression out from his opponent Luker. But Team 1 gunships will kind of help dissuade that run by. Now Azuros is done with that upgrade and is pushing those forces from Excited back. And Excited's comm is actually on the front lines, hanging out. No forces to kind of back him up immediately. Probably trying to see if he can shove Azuros out from this forward production base. Let's take a small break, look at the ecos. We got 72, 73k generated for pretty much both teams, now both teams, so pretty even, and generated eco about 10 ahead for Team 2, so not obscene, not a huge gap, but if that continues, it will make a huge difference later on. We have some pushing going down over here for Accidental Aeon gunships, T2 gunships, mind you, out from Eternal. Airfight going down in the above these force as well, but we are in the T1 stage, so interceptors aren't the most noteworthy of thing, but again, having some air control is better than having no air control. But this push is dwindling for Accidental Aeon, and he should actually be, my opinion, he should be moving back, because he's walking into a calm, and there's gunships, and he's very far forward, so that might get him killed. I don't know, where is he going? He's going over here, so he is moving. He's not just like walked his calm, he is like changing the location of the move, so I don't, he's like, yeah, okay, maybe not. Eternal, you can push, like, I don't, yeah, the calm's shooting a lot of shots, but you do have gunships. And more on the way, so, I don't know. But, yeah, again, like I said, Aeon should be pulling back, and if he doesn't, he will die. That is a fact. Unless he gets a really, like, quick transport out to carry him out, but all these interceptors in the vicinity, plus a comm, plus gunships, that's not going to go very well. Cutting off the retreat for Accidental Aeon with T2 assault bots, these Ilshis. I like to refer to them as the little versions of the chicken, T4 Experimental. They are walking T2 PD, just lots of damage, lots of fire rate, just eviscerating everything in their path. More land forces grouping up for the western side for Team 1, and a huge push out from Excited, pretty much ousted Azuros, maybe coming to support Accidental Aeon, but Aeon is now in the water, chasing down, oh no, chasing down the Calm of Eternal, and it looks like, I don't know what's going on. Let's see, what can Accidental Aeon see? Accidental Aeon can see the calm. So, and Eternal, same thing. So they know that each other are there. They're just gonna huddle around one another until somebody dies, I'm assuming. But coming up on the land, probably bapping that mass extractor T2. Not a huge loss, but again, mass. Any loss of mass is a loss. T3 has been completed for Azuros. Looks like he has a main manufacturing base here in the corner. Kind of away from everything, but the benefit of that is it's away from everything, so double-edged sword on that. But I guess he's just going to keep walking in. This is the most interesting thing that I've seen. Akam actually, Aeon has walked all the way to the enemy base and is like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. PD on the way for Eternal and Team 2 down here in the bottom. But he's going to go back in the water. I wouldn't be surprised if they get some... The T3 is completed though, so I'm interested to see why he's focusing on the gunships, but... His gunships got shot down, possibly. But ASF production on the way for Team 2. How about Team 1? T3 completed as well, excuse me, for Olsen. So both in the T3 air game. We have a push coming out from Seal Force with his, well, some of his Ilshis. See if the comms will meet and exchange plasma. We have a run by here for Azuros with some loyalists. We have engineers hurriedly getting PD up and running, but doesn't look like they're going to do it in time. I'm interested to see what these loyalists go for in terms of destruction, in terms of targets. We do have T1 bombers, so doing some damage to these bots. One of the Ilshis is down. And excuse me if I missed it, it just looks like Aeon just walked in and just decided to either just control K or something. I don't know, but maybe there was really no hope for him giving back, like I said. He pushed himself that far forward, it wasn't really going to matter at any point. Still got some 2 loyalists hanging out, going after mass extractors. Good use of Good use of some run-bys going after the mass, slowing down production and upgrades as well. Shield canceled. Shield canceled for Kelly. But we do have nano repair on the way for Excited. He is almost done with that. And stealth on the way for Azuros. I wonder if he has... Does he have... No, he does not have the laser. So maybe he'll go for the laser next. He is going for stealth, so... Mass transferred over to Excited, probably building up an upgrade or something. Exactly, no. He did lose some power, some mass, but not a huge loss. We have another run-by out from Azuros as well. Man, these run-bys are getting real good this game. We do have some more units from Excited, so they're able to help kind of bap this away, as well as a bunch of T1 bombers, so focusing fire can almost take out one loyalist with one pass, so not a huge inconvenience. One of them does go down. That's going to get stopped, but not after they inflict a decent amount of damage. Nothing going on the west. Some defenses lining up, some units lining up, but we do have another run-by out from Team 2. We have some T3 siege tanks, these Othams. They're now in the water, hanging out. About to probably go for these max extractors and small base. We have strat bombers. Oh no, going for the core mass. Ooh, and their bomber gets just annihilated by that anti-air. But 4 factories and 2 mass extractors did go down, as well as, I guess another max extractor and another couple more max. That was a very effective bomber. I do apologize for missing that. Othams did make their way. Took out a mass extractor, took out another mass extractor. We do have a gunship out, so we'll probably be able to deal with those pretty nicely. We do have the comm out for Azuros. Not in a good way. Huge land army out for Excited over here. And a bunch of T1 bombers. He needs anti-air. Azuros needs to just get out. He can't dodge those forever. He does have cloaking. I think did he get stealth? I don't think he just had cloaking. So no, he does have personal radar stealth. So able to not be seen by that much, but it doesn't matter because they can see him anyway. But this is not going to go anywhere, and it looks like Azuros will be the second one to bow out and make this a 3v3. Yep. Pretty much the entire land force gone for Excited. Notifying probably his teammate that he has some T3 assault bots. Or somebody else saying that Azuros had some T3 land bots, some loyalists. Otham's hanging out in the water. Maybe get a torpedo bomber or two to just deal with those. Force them out of the water. Those loyalists not doing a whole lot. Just hanging out, being shot at. Nothing going out on the northern side, except for, again, this run-by that this gunship is just hovering over like a helicopter mother. Or parent. I should say not just mothers, but parents in general. Yeah, just T1 bombers dealing with units that aren't really doing a whole lot. T1 bombers being very effective over here. I'd like to see at least a couple ASFs that just take out all these bombers. Or some anti-air, or something, because they're just have carte blanche to just do whatever they want, and more on the way as well. So hopefully Team 2 notices that and deals with that problem. Run by opportunity over here for Kelly. Haven't heard from them in a while. Taking out a mass extractor and other things, but again, not a whole lot going out over here. We have a production base. Pretty much, I guess that's just the meta, is to put a production base on the other side of the river. T3 land HQ plus some, factories and power and all that jazz. But the forces out from Kelly are being cut off from retreat by the forces of Lucre. We do have a Ravager online for some PD. I'm interested to see if Lucre sends his forces in or turns around, but they are going to get sandwiched, and that is the end of that run by. All of those mass extractors from Team 2 have now been decimated, and Excited is more than willing to come and scoop up all of the lovely mass that is left over. We do have Excited over here very far forward in the enemy base. No chance of getting away, pretty much, unless he gets a lucky transport in. T1 bombers out for Kelly, and they don't go after the comm. Well, T3 land issue is still operational for now, and that brick just gets immediately shot. No chance of being useful. Now the T1 bombers go for the comm. Does have a 5 vet comm, so very chunky 23,000 hit points. But will take a little bit for those bombers to chew through, but with enough time they will be able to. Autumn siege tanks dealing with all these engineers, avoiding the T1 PD. Bombers, again, T1 bombers are just being used a lot in this game, and to great effect, mind you. Good to notice, and some mercies out from Eternal as well to just add insult to injury. But T1 bombers, I mean, if you don't take them out and you get a huge horde of them, they can do a lot of damage, even if you're at the T3 stage. You know, left alone, pretty much anything can deal infinite damage. So, gotta always be aware of what's going on, where your units are, what they're doing. Where are the enemy units? Again, intel, intel, intel. I think every match I mention it at least once or twice. Just you gotta have that juicy, juicy intel. Because the more you know, the more you can be prepared for. And the run by going kind of well for Luke. Coming in the back, going after the this fire base. And Excited does eventually get killed. I don't know why it says Control K. I think they fixed that. I don't know, but this is kind of a match that been closer to the beginning of the year, so I don't exactly know if they have that fixed yet. I think they do. I don't remember. Anyway. Oh, units transferred over to Flying Olsen. So pretty much Flying Olsen has the east side and Lucre has the west side. That is a good tactic. That way your players, your teammates can focus on focus more on things and not have, you know, constantly be jumping like, oh, what's over here, oh, what's over here, oh, da, 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 da. You can focus. Pushing through for Lucre, T3 assault tanks, siege tanks, excuse me, as well as some Ilshis. Again, those T1 bombers. Where are the ASFs? Where just send just some regular interceptors in, or even fighter bombers to just deal with this T1 bomber. And T1 bombers over here. Jeez, I should just label this a match T1 bomber spam, very effective. And we have some torpedoes. These aren't going to do anything over here. There's no water. You might as well just Control K these. Get the mass back. Or 80% of the mass back, excuse me. Shield on the way for Eternal. Hanging out by this little hillock. Just hanging out, you know, in the back. But that also provides some nice protection because you have some bombers coming in from the north side of the map. They're most likely going to hit this hillock and not the comm. You'll have a higher chance of being protected over here versus if they come in this way. So it is a good move putting your comm there when you don't have a bunch of shields. We have a chicken. I don't know how to pronounce the Seraphim, some of the Seraphim units. I do apologize. But a chicken bot on the way for, I was going to say Kelly, but it's Seal Force. Again, those blues and those purples kind of throwing me off sometimes. Grass on the way for Lucre. Constant back and forth on this east side. This west side starting to experience the same thing. But looks like most of the infrastructure and forces for Team 1 have been pushed back to this kind of almost center line kind of thing. We kind of have almost 50% in both players' hands. T1 gunships on the way to deal with these siege tanks. Super cheap, these jesters. And you get them at T1, so nice early tech advantage for the Cybrans. No, excuse me. Are they Cybran? No, are they UEF? No, they're UEF. I thought they were Cybrans. They look Cybran. They're a Cybran did they share tech at some point? I didn't notice. They did not. Maybe they were gifted over, maybe? But there are no Cybrans on this. Oh, the Cybrans back. Oh, Kelly does have. My apologies. Kelly does have the air factory from Azuros. My apologies. Completely forgot about that. Okay, anyway, it is a 2v3, by the way, in favor for Team 1 versus Team 2. So less APM for Team 1, but they do have the highest player and almost the second highest highest player in the game, Luker, followed by Azuros, who's dead. So, I mean, if you're going just based off skill, the highest rated player in the game is still alive and on the other team in terms of Team 2 versus Team 1. But we do have a Megalith on the way for Team 1 for Olsen. That'll most likely finish second because it looks like that that Chickenbot did finish and is on the way to, I guess, this eastern side of the map. Those gunships did not stand a chance. What does the air game look like? 67 for Olsen, and let's see, Kelly has 12. Oh, but we do have Sea of Eternal, excuse me, wow. Is that the right 25, so about 40. So, I mean, about a 3-2 advantage for Team 1. So, not super great, but looks like Team 2 did notice the construction of the Megalith. I would have personally gone with the Monkey Lord, because it is cheaper and faster to make. But the Megalith is beefier, so the downside is it takes longer, but the upside is more hit points and longer range. So there is a give and take with pretty much every experimental in this game. It'd be really funny to see a Tempest or an Atlantis built in the water, though. Those are T4 experimental units, naval units specifically. It'd just be really funny to see them in this like really shallow, not a whole lot of water map. There's some T3 units supporting the push out from Kelly. Probably if those units were transferred over to Steel Force, then he could use them more effectively and not have to have two players' attention over on this push. But sometimes it is nice to divvy up work, but not just for a single push like this. It does look like Luker was also building an experimental, a chicken bot of his own, back here in the water. And looks like that Megalith has now been completed. So we have 2 experimentals for Team 1, 1 experimental built for Team 2, and almost 2. So it's almost a 1-to-1, except the Megalith just has more hit points and can fire from longer range. So, and Azuros saying the Meg is finished. It is nice to see that even dead players still communicate in game. I've watched and played some games where once a player dies, they just leave, and you know, it's that extra like eyes is nice to have. Like, oh, by the way, your scout flew over this thing. You should probably know about this thing, and like no one's paying attention. If it wasn't for that player who's dead, so dead players still can make a difference. So for any of you that die early in the game, at least do your best to assist your teammates, because if they win, you still win, even if you're dead. We have lots of siege tanks in the water for Team 1 for Luker. We have some torpedo bombers that are just getting blapped out of the skies. I would not engage, and they pull back for Team 2. That ASF ball is definitely bigger than what they have. So AOC is pushing forward with no support. No support at all. And these T1 gunships, I mean, aren't going to last very long as well. This does have an anti-air cannon on it as well. So it's not just, you know, free damage. They will get shot at. They should move this chicken bot to the west to counter it. You'll see right now, you know, that flak coming in, dealing some damage. It's not a lot, but, you know, it does make a difference against gunships, because gunships don't move a whole lot. But all the gunships are down. More. Oh, but we do have broadswords T3 gunships on the way for Kelly as well. And those definitely have more health and can do a lot more damage. Already blapping the hit points off of that chicken bot. Ooh, that's not a great turn for Olsen. Kind of gets hit by both air forces out for Team 2. And it looks like because of that first bad turn, Olsen is going to lose most, if not all, of his ASF. So they use the gunships. Good tactic. You use one unit to draw out another unit in order for you to kill the unit you're actually going after, which in this case were the ASFs, and the gunships were the bait. Ilshi in the water hanging out, kind of walking in and out, deciding if he wants to get his feet wet or not. Let's take a look at ecos really quick. We have Team 2 is almost up by 100 mass and has generated almost 20k more. That's about an experimental's worth. So kind of getting a bit a bad situation for Team 1, but not unrecoverable at all. Do we have any standoff tactics being put into place? Nukes, artillery? No. We have another mag that's close to 70%. Another chicken that's almost done. About for Team 2. Do we have anything back here? We got a Novax under construction. That's good to see. It is kind of far from completing though, so don't expect that anytime soon. Maybe next like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes or so. Yeah, we're at 31 minutes, and if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Like the video, comment down below just about who do you think is going to win at this point. To give you an idea, it is 2v3. Mass is pretty close. Generated mass is making a significant difference. Now it's almost 100. But map is pretty much becoming like 55-45 in favor of Team 2. But who knows? I mean, somebody could build a nuke really quick and nuke everybody, or artillery or whatever. So, again, comment down below, timestamp, telling me who do you think is going to win at this point. And again, I appreciate all of you who have subscribed so far, and encourage those who are watching to continue your support by subscribing and liking and commenting and doing all the fun stuff that YouTube likes for viewers to do. We did have a strategic bomber out for, I think that was Eternal. Took out most of the engineers, but they are sucking up that reclaim, so I don't know if it was that worth it in terms of mass for mass. ASF's being built back up. Good to see that for Olsen. ASF production continuing down in the south. Apologize for my dog barking. She probably sees or hears somebody walk by the house. We have a chicken. Actually, that's not for Team 1. That is for Team 2. We have a chicken bot on both sides. And I think that's all the experimentals. We do have a Meg for Team 1 in the middle with some siege tanks, shields, engineers, good complement of units, adding hit points with the shields, adding support with these T3 bots and tanks. We have Percival's on the scene. A lot of siege tanks. How many is this in the water? 26. That's a decent amount. A decent amount of tanks just hanging out in the water. That's a good scene right there as they just eliminate that Percival. They do, as you can see, they do have an onboard torpedo system, so they do make for good defense against just units walking in the water. They don't do a whole lot of damage, as you can see, but for T1 units and T2 units, oh, and they just got wrecked. That water is not deep enough to protect them, and as you can see, they just lost 6 tanks. Huge amount of mass to just lose without getting anything out of it. Point defense going down to T1 artillery. We have another push out from the east from Kelly. Loyalists, interesting that they didn't go with bricks, but the Loyalists are cheaper and faster. Maybe thinking of a run-by situation. Megalith moving to intercept. We have a push in the middle as well. We have another Megalith for defense, so 2 Megs in defense on the eastern side for Team 1. A couple strat bombers. We have a decent amount of strat bombers built up in the back for Team 1. Maybe looking at a snipe on one of the comms. Or maybe a Novax. Novax just finished, by the way. Or production. Or I'd probably go for the Novax, since that technically is an experimental. Take that out. Maybe go for the air grid of Eternal. But I don't think they're going to get through that air defense without some sort of distraction. Meg doing an awesome job of pushing back this push from Kelly and just bapping. Like almost it's a one hit kill for these Loyalists from this Megalith. Sniper bots in the middle. They're just going to get wrecked by these siege tanks. We have some anti-air units out for Team 1 as well, taking out any scouts that may fly over to see what's going on. I do enjoy the fact that if you die in the game and your walls are still there, they still retain their color and original owner. They don't get transferred. They're just there. So it's just interesting that those are the only things that don't get transferred, because they're not technically units or structures or any of that stuff. Oh, siege tank just gets annihilated. It does some AoE splash damage onto these anti-air cannons. Would like to see at least a couple PD to help make sure that there's not a huge buildup of T1 artillery, which is what Eternal is doing. Actually, yes, Eternal is doing. Looks like those bombers have found a target. We have a decent amount of Percivals on the western flank, and it looks like those siege strategic bombers are going after them. Looks like it takes pretty much 2-3 bombs to take out a Percival. They're a little beefy, but boom. Okay, took out about 5 there, 6 there. Those ASFs coming into support. We do have restorers, anti-air gunships. You get enough of those, and it does not matter. Just they're beefy. They have anti-air. They also can hit the ground. Multi-purpose unit, very effective against all types of air units. Just look at them take out a strategic bomber. Just look at all those missiles. Imagine you had like 40 or 50 of those bombers would not last long. Took out, I'd say, about half the force of Percivals, but isn't going to stop it. We do have Loyalists made it into the main base of Team 1. Didn't really get that far, but it looks like something shot that. Maybe. Oh, no, it wasn't that. Looked like a bomber or something. Huh. Weird. More restorers out, cleaning up some of these auxiliary forces out for Team 1. We have the satellite up ahead. Hopefully Team 1 builds more shields, because that is, which they are doing currently. That is not going to last very long against these satellites. Cybran shields are the weakest in terms of shield strength. The little blue line. Going after mass fabs. Good call there. They are explosive, volatile. So you do AoE damage as well. Good move there. Do we have anything else in the back for Team 2? We have a Fat Boy that's almost finished. Do we have another satellite? No. Which did just finish. We don't have pretty much anything else. I mean, I don't see... I also don't see a whole lot going on. Oh, by the way, excuse me, this is a custom match, not a ladder match, because the numbers are not rounded off, so I do apologize for that. So, in the beginning of the video, I think I did say ladder, and I meant to say custom, so my apologies. Still getting used to casting and the norms and all of that, so have some patience and forgiveness for me as I continue my efforts to get better at casting for y'all. And anti-air lightning tanks are just very fun to watch. But kind of in a lull period. Eco's pretty much stayed about the same discrepancy, about 150 or so. Mass generated has actually caught up a bit, up by I think that's almost 100k. Not even not even 100k. I can do math really quickly. Strategic bomber, it hit that cliff. See, hit that mountain. Wasn't able to hit the target. 3 chickens in the middle. 3 chickens. Count that. 1, 2, 3. Look at those. In between those little mountain peaks. Just hanging out. But on the other side, we have another push out for Team 2. These restorers are just going to get zapped. All of this infrastructure is now down. Team 1 is pretty much operating on about... I'd say 40% of the map now, roughly. 2 megs in the middle still there. Anything in the base? We have a 3rd one almost done. We have a nuke launcher. We have anything? Like no standoff tactics at all? No, I don't see anything in the base. We do have an Ahwassa, an experimental bomber. Probably one of my favorite units, if not, probably like at least top 3. At least top 3 experimental units. Very fun to watch and just to bomb everything in sight. So that's 3 megs on the field for Team 1. And we do have a nuke. We have a nuke out for Team 2 on the trajectory to collide with... Looks like the part of the main base for Team 1. Looks like it's going for the air grid for Flying Olsen. I don't... see an anti-nuke? That's really rare. 41 minutes, no anti-nuke? This high ranked players? That's really not great. Boom. That and pretty much the entire air grid up in smoke. That is not great for Team 1. That's going to be a huge setback. If Team 2 is able to take out the air forces for Team 1, they pretty much have air control for a while. Meg doing its job on the northeast side, taking out these Ilshis and T1 units. Gonna get some damage done, but not a considerable amount. Push on the way for Luker, taking out forward operating base and factories. Huge wave of bombers on the way. I don't know what their target is. Going after that fat boy, and that fat boy is not long for this world, my friends. Oh! Man, that's a tough break for Team 1 there. They're gonna take out Air HQ. No. What are they gonna for next? Their bombs are recharging, and they don't have enough time, and that's it. So, no confirmed kills for those strat bombers, unfortunately. We do have the main forces almost making it into the base, trying to avoid lightninging all of their units, which is the smart move. But these sea tanks are going to get into the base, and that nuke is about 70% loaded. They need to get PD up. They need to get just everything in the kitchen sink thrown at him. Chicken bot being chasing down that fat boy. Meg going down. We have another Meg on the way. This looks like it might be the final push for Team 1. Looks like Eternal Control Ks. Is there a reason out of battery need to stop the game for a sec? As in more doesn't have any more keep me awake juice, as my nephew calls it, or would say. Oh, that bomber coming in. Let's slow that down really quick. Watch it. Just take the camera off and just watch this. Oh no! That's such a good shot of that bomber in for that base. Just like, oh no, this is bad. This is not okay. Please help. Please help. Oh, this is not good. Let me speed that up for you a little bit. Yeah, it does impact the shield. So it's able to thwart that explosion. And like I said, these bombers are very weak. Does get the bomb off? No. But does do some splash damage, takes out a shield, takes out a couple power generators, but looks like that's about it. The nuke is still alive! Oh, oh. Body blocking shots, body blocking shots. Shield goes up. Shield goes up. Oh, that little... Oh, the ball of death gets it. Oh, they took out the nuke launcher, and I think it had a nuke almost loaded. That is a tough break for Team 2. You have a SMD though, so that's always good to see. That hole ever present for Team 1. Probably a sigh of relief that that nuke launcher is down and out, but I'll be disappointed. Yeah, that should be enough mass to win the game from Azuro. It's just like, yeah, that's like 37,000, 38,000, 19,000, 19,000. 19,000. Yeah, that's like almost, is that at least over 100,000, if not 150. Meg coming in. Ooh, let's see if they're gonna come in and take more of the base out. Does have the advantage here because it has more health. Taking out the like, you know, built under construction experimental. Not willing to charge though, which is kind of weird. I mean, again, it does have the advantage. It could easily kill that chicken. Forces coming from the front lines to help support the main base. Now decides to go in. That was definitely a misplay on that front. Going after the Novak Center. Novak Center is down, so at least they recovered on that front. Going after a T1 land factory. Not really worth it. That chicken is going to maybe survive. It's gonna be close. Oh, barely. About 6,000 hit points left. And the AoE explosion does take out the chicken bot. So that is a tough break for Team 1, but I would have controlled K'd that in my away from my base, but control K'd it anyway. We do have another experimental bomber online for Team 1. Air grid is starting to come back online. Megalith under construction. Another chicken bot under construction. Got some loyalists that could move in, take out some more structures, but they're just gonna get blapped. Boom! Little like snake design. I do like the design of that explosion. It's all nice and pretty. Surface explosions are very pretty, to be fair. Like they just haven't, like the calm explosions and the nuke explosions are really cool. Especially the Thanaos, the experimental nuke launcher for them. I'd say they're the most aesthetically different and designed because they are a different, is it a different race or aliens or something? I forget. It's been a while since I played the story for Force Alliance. Meg in the water for Team 1. Spy planes overhead, seeing what's up for Team 2. Spending everything on that Artie and shit. There's an Artie somewhere? Let's see. Is that for Team 1 or Team 2? That might be for Team 2. They don't have any defense. They do have a fat boy though. Yeah, I guess the arty, we have a heavy artillery installation T3 for Team 2. Looks like maybe that'll be the attack of opportunity. Where'd that bomber go? Oh, that megalith does not look good. No support. Bunch of gunships and bombers. That is going to die very quickly. Oh, it's just hanging out over here. Yeah, it's just the hit points just evaporating off of that megalith. Fat Boy trying to get a firing arc, but just can't seem to catch a break. Doesn't want to get too close because it will just get annihilated. Megalith does get in, taking out some engineers, taking out some PD. Let's see if it gets the air grid for Aeon air grid for Kelly. Oh, going after the power, that's a good move. It does AoE damage, so able to take out more things. Ooh, and then takes out another power, so most of that air grid is down and out. HQ down. That shield is not going to last very long, but also going for the other power gen, so that entire air grid is now down. It's not going to get a whole lot of work done. That's more mass dumped into the coffers of Team 2 to just funnel into that artillery, so I don't know about that. We do have another push, very successful push out. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, that was some friendly fire there. Oh, that's gonna suck for Team 1. Did not look good. Did not look good for Team 1 there. Probably could have handled that a little more diplomatically, probably. Ouch. Loyalists are gonna get swept up. All cleared out. Yeah, rebuild Omni because they lost their Omni sensor, which is the see all pretty much radar for players here. We have some Percivals in the middle getting swarmed by T1 units. Like to see a couple strat bombers just take out these factories over here in the middle. We have another run by on the western flank for Luker. But I just think Team 2 has a better grasp on ending the game versus Team 1. I mean, yeah, they have an experimental bomber that bombed their own base, so I don't know about that. But they don't have, you know, arty plans, nuke plans, experimental rush plans. It's just kind of, you know, sitting in their boat with no paddle, just like, I don't know where we're gonna go. But like I mentioned, there's a chicken bot on the way to wrap up these production factories here in the middle. Mass going down, auxiliary factories going down for Kelly. It is a 2v2, so, and as you play Supreme Commander, the more you go on, the more you have brain fog, just because you're playing for a long time. It's hard to focus, remember everything. Higher the player, the more that brain fog gets diminished as time goes on, but everyone gets it eventually, so re-getting mass extractors, recapping them, rebuilding structures, just that starts to you start to forget that. Oh, don't land that. Okay, far enough away from friendly units. That's it's so scary when your ally does that. And, freak me out too if I was Olsen, especially because that's already happened once this game. So, gunship and squadrons in the middle for Team 2, clearing up the rest of those forces from Olsen. Artillery, like what was stated in the chat, is online. Again, like I said, interesting design, very segmented out, very not like very industrial or, you know, cyborg or very smooth or anything. It's very just like jagged, very segmented out. It doesn't even look like it like should work, but for some alien tech or whatever, it somehow works. So we don't question it. Looks like it's changing its firing arc, going for possibly this production area for Luke. The laser on the way for the Cybran. if he uses the teleporter, he might be able to take out that artillery, but line of T1 point defense, as well as T2 point defense, as well as, I think that's it, but that should be enough to dissuade Olsen from just jumping in there and trying to take it out. That is a strategy you can do in the game as a Cybran, but if you have a lot of PD hitting you, you'll die very quickly before you do any damage. So it is a really risky play. So something that players have to be aware of at all times, especially when facing off against Cybrans. Gunship dealing with the T1 artillery rush and spam. We have some restorers going after this chicken bot. Does get the chicken bot. Will lose the rest of these restorers, but I'd say that's a fair trade for an experimental. Didn't take any damage from that. Are they going for the calm? I don't know. Maybe they saw the calm in the water and thought they could go for him. I feel like you could go for structures or power or this, like this grid over here. Like just anything to like whittle down the enemy instead of going after one single target that can move. And you're talking about artillery, long range, kind of, you know, not super accurate at all times. So Sam's being built up to help dissuade any more enemy units from coming closer. In terms of air units, okay, now he's going after infrastructure. Okay, see him switching up targets. Again, we have that spam and bricks coming out from Kelly. Still, like, I'm surprised that this has happened so many times and Team 1 have not just built PD, shield, units, anything to dissuade it. Just like, yeah, you can come in, open borders, hang out. I feel like they could have done better on that eastern side. Couple gunships, not going to survive very long. Especially if they get noticed, and they're gone. I mean, the Meg can do a lot of damage, but when you have a lot of targets and they're moving, I mean, it does take up that shot frequency and time to manage all of that. T2PD finally being spammed up, but kind of doesn't help when the shots hit the mountain and not the actual unit. So, siege tanks on the way. Hopefully dissuading some of that spam. We do have more spam coming through the main causeway. So this eastern flank is just not having a fun time over here. But mass engineers being built to rush this teleporter for the telemaser. See if that gets finished. Chicken made it all the way to the main causeway of Team 2's base. 2 chickens are in tow to go after it. It looks like we did miss that Ashwasher, but it doesn't even look like it made it to the main base, unfortunately. There's just so much mass here for Team 2. I feel like Team 1 is just mass dumped for like half the game. And they haven't even finished with that first bomber, so it's... I mean, Team 1 have pretty much just said, here's all this mass that we no longer want. Here you go. And Team 2's like, okay, we'll take it and use it against you. That's perfectly fine. Attacks petering out for Team 1. We do have a nuke out, and I don't think they have an SMD. So this is going to land. And it is not going to be pretty. Boom. Takes out everything except the mass storage on this eastern side. So I think this is heading in one direction and one direction only. Hardly any infrastructure left for Olsen. Some for Luker shoved into this corner. I think where Team 1 went wrong was that they just weren't prioritizing this eastern flank enough and just kept mass dumping and mass dumping and mass dumping. So that's the downside of fighting on enemy territory, is that the enemy has a better way to, or a better way to get at the mass faster and more effectively. You don't have to rush engineers out from the other side of the map to go get the mass when it's like right there. Two fat boys pulverizing these forward operating bases for Team 1. We have 2 more chickens in the middle, so we have 3 chickens in the middle. We have 2 chickens going on the other side, and it looks like Olsen did try to teleport and just got wrecked, and Luke backs out. And that is the game. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. If you please like the video and subscribe as well, I very much appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one.